it's a little weird to hook up to a machine and you're like, all right, here we go again. Like, time for this machine to suck the milk out of my boobs. It's not like super warm and cozy. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to my bedroom, welcome to my pumping station. I can't turn my head too much. If you saw my last chatty video, which was my cloth diaper Q&A, you know that I have again thrown my neck out twice this month. So if I seem a little robotic, that's what's going on. I am a little robotic. So I mentioned this like a month ago. I have a whole list of topics that I want to make videos on. I have a lot of thoughts that I would like to share, but throwing my neck out twice this month definitely threw a speed bump into everything, because on top of making videos, obviously I'm trying to learn how to be a mom. I'm pumping all of the time. I'm actually literally trying to get this video done before my next pumping session, and I was trying to decide what video I wanted to film because this list that I have is so extensive of things I want to talk about, and I decided that I wanted to film this video next because I kind of felt like, I don't know, not that my information is going to be the best information ever, because you can get this information all over the internet, but it felt a little time sensitive in the sense that, like, I know that a bunch of you guys are pregnant and are about to deliver, and I wanted to see if I could just, like, you know, throw a little support your way. I did a lot of research on this topic. I am not even close to being an expert, just like how I'm not an expert at literally anything. But I am a researcher, as you guys know. I suck at citing my sources. Like, I'm really bad at documenting everything I learn in life, but I'm one of those people that, like, ravenously consumes content. And so that being said, today I'm going to be sharing the tips that I have to keep your milk supply going and to increase your milk supply. Now, Logan is only about 4 months old. He's almost 4 months old next week. So he's still little, and I know I've heard from a lot of people that your milk supply will go up and down and can kind of wane off towards the end. So it's not even like I have any experience, really. Like, my baby's like a year and I've been doing this for a while, and I can tell you for sure. But I have noticed my own milk supply reacting to certain things that I do. And that's kind of crazy to watch, to be like, wow, I did this and I noticed it went up. I did this and I noticed it went down. And so I figured, even though I'm not an expert, even though my baby's not older, these are a lot of tips that I've heard from other people. And so far in my lactation journey, these are things that I have noticed help me and can tend to help me pretty fast. So I just wanted to share these tips with you today. And yeah, now to those of you, I haven't given this update in a while, or maybe I've said it kind of like nonchalantly in a day in my life, but I haven't talked about this in like a chatty video. I am basically exclusively pumping now. I breastfeed so rarely. I didn't plan for it to be this way. Some of you might be like, well, I know it's a very common story of moms that are pumping and breastfeeding to end up switching to entirely pumping. But the reason that it panned out this way was literally like in the last month, as I told you right at the top of this video, I threw my neck out twice. And so it kind of just like happened that way. It was like, I threw my neck out, I can't breastfeed. Okay, I'm only pumping. And then it was like, oh, I'm better for a few days. I can kind of start trying again. And then I threw my neck out again. And I breastfed him last night, but that was the first time I had breastfed him in like 2 weeks. And that, side note, has been kind of a weird journey. It's not something, I've talked to a couple friends about this, it's not something that I like obsess over by any means, but I had really wanted to breastfeed more than I have. That being said, thank God for pumps, and thank God that my boobs are actually making milk. And so, yeah, that's kind of, to those of you that have been asking, like, what my current milking situation is, that's the gist. I'm primarily pumping. Now, I will say I've heard enough people's journey to know that, like, that could shift again. Like, when you hear people talk about their breastfeeding journey, which I did make a video all about my breastfeeding journey from the beginning. Maybe for those of you that have never made milk from your boobs before, first time moms, and you wanted to hear kind of a little bit of the process, I did record my story. And I used the word journey because that is literally what it feels like. And when I've heard other moms talk about their breastfeeding experiences, that's how they word it too. It really sounds like it could be a journey. Like sometimes moms will completely stop pumping or breastfeeding for a little while and their kid is mostly using formula and then they go back into it. Or like I said, maybe they're pumping and then they switch to breastfeeding, or like breastfeeding switch to pumping. Everybody has very different stories. And I think it's helpful, similarly to watching birth stories, to watch different people's breastfeeding stories, their journeys, because it can really encourage you and give you tips and remind you that this is a journey, man. And it's kind of a long one. It's a little bit, it's different than breastfeeding. I have a few friends that have exclusively breastfed, and you know, breastfeeding has its own challenges. One of those I completely waved goodbye to, which was the physical challenge of like the body having to adjust and hunch and then try not to hunch, and like the pulling at your breast. So it's got different challenges. And one of the challenges with pumping that exists is it can feel a little robotic, mechanical. It's a little weird to hook up to a machine and you're like, all right, here we go again. Like, time for this machine to suck the milk out of my boobs. It's not like super warm and cozy. I will be with Logan when I can, every time I pump, which is honestly probably 80 to 90% of the time I am with Logan when I'm pumping. The only times I'm not is like if he's asleep or like I'm eating food and he's sitting somewhere else because it's hard. If I have my Spectra pump on, which has the cords, it's hard to have him near me. If I have my LV, it's a different situation, but I like to alternate between the two depending on the situation that I'm in. That's like a whole separate thing almost. Anyways, I'm with him most of the time, which will help make the pumping a little easier, but it can be a little bit cold. So all of that basically has nothing to do with what I'm about to talk about, but I just felt like, I don't know, word vomiting on you about all of that. So I have my notes on all of the things that I have been doing to support my milk supply. And just like I mentioned in my cloth diaper video, I'm such a newbie and not an expert at any of this, but I get so many questions on these topics, and sometimes I'm like, well, I don't want to like not answer people, but it needs to come in with the preface of like, I am not an expert. And so that being said, I know I have so many like legit expert moms who watch my videos. So please feel free to chime in the comments if you have different suggestions, things that you want to add to the comments that I'm making, all of that jazz, because I think that that would be really helpful for people watching the video to get more than just my input. So, all right, here we go. Top of the list for your milk supply are the basic things. Water, but not just some water, an excessive amount of water. Everybody actually jokes that like if you chug water, it's like you're going to be converting that into breast milk. I'm a heavy water drinker, but I'm talking about lots of water. Like I will just force myself to drink an excessive amount of water. I know that is vague. Basically, I just drink all day. Like if I want more milk, I keep drinking more water. Sleep. Sleep is so important, and I know it's hard with a baby to get sleep. You know, everybody says sleep when the baby sleeps. If you are really trying to get that milk supply up, then you need to make sure you're getting good sleep, because sleep is a supportive tool for everything in your body, including creating milk. And then obviously having a well-rounded diet. That's another thing that can go out the window sometimes with moms, is eating well. And I think it's just really important. Like you are the animal that is feeding the baby. You are the production of food. And so you want to try your best to get in a well-rounded diet with all kinds of good macronutrients, your proteins, your fats, your carbs, obviously whatever diet you think suits you and fits well for you. But I just think having it be well-rounded with lots of good veggies and fruits and healthy animal products, if that's a diet that you're eating, which I am, I think it's all really supportive of a breast milk supply. Also, if you're a supplement taker, take your supplements. I take so many supplements. I am someone, a lot of people believe that if you're eating a really good diet, that you don't need to supplement because you're getting your nutrition from your diet. I don't personally believe that, because I think that our soil and air quality and water has become so compromised and not the same quality that it was in years past when you would eat these foods. So, and then obviously we have all kinds of new pesticides that have been introduced into our food chain over the years. So I'm a big believer in supplementing as well, but obviously to each their own. But that's the thing, side note about these tips. These are really things that I'm going to share for me. I take so many supplements. I literally just added some new supplements to my routine, actually like 2 days ago even. I take vitamin C, I take a B complex, I take iron, I take a multivitamin, I still take my prenatals, I take vitamin D, I take vitamin K, I take CoQ10, I take, honestly, I don't even remember, this isn't even meant to be a YouTube video or a vitamin video, but the point is, I would consider looking into supplementation if you're not already, at least prenatals. I think prenatals are great to take in your postpartum time because it still has so many nutrients that are great for your body. And if you're going to be giving your milk, you're going to be sucking that out of you. It's good to replenish your body, in my opinion, with all of the good stuff. So another thing that has been helpful for me is eating foods that I believe they're called galactogans. That might not be the right word, but they're foods that are known to stimulate the mammary glands. I think that's the word too. Basically the part of your boobs that makes the milk. And a lot of people will tell you, I was just talking to my chiropractor about this, to eat foods like oats. Like everybody's really big into oats when they're trying to create milk. And that is a good thing to eat. Oats are a galactogan or whatever it's called. But oats are also like, it's a carb. And so when you're eating, this is where the whole well-balanced diet comes in. You want to make sure, in my opinion, this is what I do, to also get in lots of good quality fat in the form of avocados, nuts. Nuts are awesome because nuts are known to be a food that is good to stimulate milk supply. They're also full of good fats, good protein. They're just great for you. So yeah, oats, I've been making cookies out of oat flour to get my oats in more consistently. Nuts, I've never been as huge of a nut consumer as I have been when I was pregnant and then now postpartum. And one of the ways that I eat my nuts is in the form of a nut butter, and I will actually stuff nut butter into dates. So dates, this is interesting. My milk supply had actually started to dip about a week and a half ago. And I was on the phone with my mom and I'm telling my mom, like, Mom, my milk supply is going down. I don't know what's up. And I'm talking her through everything. And she's like, well, what about dates? You were eating a lot of dates before. And I was like, I stopped eating dates. And so dates are kind of one of those like mystery foods for like pregnant women. They're healthy for you in general. Like often they'll say to eat dates in pregnancy because of the, what is it? It's not the potassium, not the magnesium. Maybe it is one of those. I don't remember. But it's really supportive, supposedly, to help with encouraging a faster labor. But I kept eating dates through my postpartum until, like I said, a couple of weeks ago, and I noticed my milk supply was dropping. So I started eating more dates again. Now, I actually, it was two things. It wasn't just the dates. It was this other thing I'm going to tell you about too. I started eating more dates, and my milk supply went back up. Now, I don't believe that there's necessarily one magic thing that you can do in general, right? For your health, for anything. I think that a lot of our health is very like holistic. Like it's a lot of things kind of coming together, not just one thing. And I believe the same thing about supporting your milk supply. But I will say that one of those things, like I mentioned, was dates. Now, one of the other things that I had stopped doing, I was actually taking a supplement called fenugreek pretty early on, right after I had Logan, because fenugreek is rumored to also help with your milk supply. Now, when I ran out of my bottle, I actually stopped taking it because I had heard from my sister-in-law that fenugreek is actually a little more controversial than I realized, and some people claim that it can actually dry up their milk supply. So I was like, maybe I'm holding back my milk supply's potential by taking this fenugreek. And so I just didn't buy a new bottle. Nope. Turns out I do really well on fenugreek. Now, fenugreek makes you smell weird, like it gives you weird BO. But basically, I kind of came to the conclusion with my mom that I had gotten a little bit lazy on a couple of things. I wasn't chugging water as consistently. I wasn't eating dates. I wasn't taking fenugreek. And then the other thing that I had slacked on, and this is an important tip for raising your milk supply. Your milk supply is a supply and demand situation. So the more that you breastfeed or pump in theory, the more milk your body will create, because it will signal to it, it needs more milk. It needs more milk. Because let's say for a pumping situation, your body assumes that's a baby that's sucking milk, and if it's sucking it, it means it needs to create more. And so the other thing is, I had slowed down my pumping to be like maybe every 3.5 hours in the day. I wasn't so like strict about it. And so recently I've really tried to tighten that back up again. And during the day, I pump basically every 2 hours. Now, I've heard that some women's milk supply can really even out, in the sense that like they don't have to be as strict and their body does a good job at regulating how much to create when. But for me, once I got back on that 2 hour range, and sometimes I go a little bit longer. For example, I'm about to be at my 2 hour mark in 2 minutes. I'm probably not going to be hooked up to the pump for like another 15. So I do have a little leeway there, but I really strive to get it within that 2 hour window now. So I basically just had to stop being, I don't want to say lazy, because I wasn't lazy, but I really had to like tighten it up. Like, nope, don't get lax, Nikki. Drink that water, take those supplements, eat those galacticus foods, or whatever the word is, and pump every 2 hours. And I noticed my supply went back up, honestly, significantly. Now, another thing is, and this is for pumping moms or breastfeeding moms, but really pumping moms if you're seeing how much you're getting, massage your boobies while you pump. It is a little difficult to do because when I squeeze, it's like my boobs, like the cups want to lose suction from my boobs, but I have figured out a way to do it where everything kind of stays well. And I notice when I squeeze, it's like a big gush will be sucked out by the pump. So that's the other thing, is massage really helps to keep the milk ducts like clear. You lower your likelihood of mastitis, but also you can tend to harvest more milk that way. So massage when you are pumping. Side note, along the lines of supplements, I haven't tried it, but my sister-in-law swears by sunflower lecithin. Supposedly, it not only increases your milk supply, but helps to prevent mastitis. If you don't know what mastitis, I feel like you would know what mastitis is if you're watching this video. You've probably heard people talk about it, but it's a clogged milk duct. And supposedly sunflower lecithin keeps everything smooth and kind of like coming out more easily. So I haven't used it, but she swears by it. So that's another thing that you could look into. Overall, you know, there's, like I said, there's some specific tips, like fenugreek that's very specific, the galacticus, I don't think that's the word, guys, but the food that helps to stimulate your milk glands, your mammary glands, I think that's what it's called. All of that is good, but the thing that I think is really important to focus on to the best of your ability, right? And everybody's got to decide what's important to them. But I think that it's important to make sure that you are still taking care of yourself. Obviously, your baby is a little helpless baby that needs your love and attention and time. But if you can squeeze in there time to drink your water, to get in some healthful foods, to get some sleep, it's going to affect your health, your milk supply, your mental state, and all of that, I believe, between you and your baby and your family, it's all very like, I don't know if the word is symbiotic. I don't think that's the word. I'm like at a loss of words today, guys. But it's good to support your overall health, not just your milk supply. And, you know, if you were getting milk from a cow, wouldn't you want to get milk from a healthy cow, or would you want to get milk from the sickly cow? You know what I mean? And I know we're not cows, not the same thing, but I feel like there is a similar parallel there. So, you know, don't beat yourself up. Ultimately, you just got to keep the baby alive. Like, that's really what it comes down to. But, you know, if you're like me and you have the ability and the time to try to support my body as well, so that I can, you know, I don't even know, make the best quality milk I can, increase my supply, whatever. These are some of the tips that have legitimately helped me. So that's it for now. My neck is killing me, so I'm gonna go. Good thing I'm at the end of this video. But I hope this was helpful. I really wanted to get this done and out for those of you that are expecting a baby. And be sure to check the comments, because I seriously think some of my super mom viewers are gonna come in clutch with suggestions. So I'm gonna go pump now. I will hopefully, God willing, see you back here soon with another new video. And I hope all you moms out there have a great rest of the day. I hope you know that what you're doing is important work. It's profound work. And that's a weird way to end this video, but I just wanted to tell you that. I want you to believe that. And that's all. Okay, it's a weird way to end. Bye.